welcome to Tuesday Q&A. I am your host, Roland. With me today, my expert, Ursinity, how are you?
I am Ursine, I suppose. By that intro.
What? Huh?
I'm Ursine.
You're Ursine, is that a word?
Yeah, I mean, that's Ursine, like that's where, like, Ursi, the root, right? As, like, being a bear. Like, a bear is an Ursine creature.
Really? What else?
I believe so.
What else are Ursine creatures?
Yeah, Ursine, relating to or resembling bears.
Just bears? I thought bears were carnivores.
Ursidae is the family, like the species or genus or whatever. I'm not sure what else is Ursine other than bears.
So how are you? You're Ursine.
I mean,
I got
other
that
than
much.
Ursine,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about
what's new? How's your MMR? All
hasn't
those things?
changed. We were talking about this in the pre-show. Actually, I've like barely played Dota in the last few days. I think I played 4 games since Theory Crafting Thursday. So Dota's not been crazy for me. I've been kind of relaxing. I kind of got all Dota'd out, and Prod and I have both lamented the solo queue experience post region lock because there's just less people, and unless you're queuing like times, I'm a support player. Like, I mean, I play mid, and I enjoy playing mid, but like when I like to climb, I like to climb as a support, and I can't do that if I'm playing games where like everybody's 1,000 or more below me. Like, it's just not in the cards, right, so to speak. And so that's kind of really sullied my solo queue experience, and I prefer solo queue over almost everything else. I like solo queue a lot, well, both unranked and ranked. So I've just not been playing that much Dota, honestly. And like the patch itself, I'm kind of not super into, and other stuff going on. So
what's wrong with the patch?
It's just like I friggin' like Luna, LD, a bunch of heroes I don't play that are really good right now. Basically,
you know,
and the heroes I really like are not good.
Join them. Can't beat them. Join them.
I play Sniper. That's about as like meta a hero as I pick right now. Sniper's just a bad LD.
No, he just drags the game on way longer than it needs to be dragged on, and usually loses.
He doesn't usually lose. He's great.
In my experience, it's like, oh god, they've got a sniper. Let's just wait until 93 minutes in the game until we can kill him. He buys back, and we kill him again, and then we can win. Because I'm so sick of Sniper. I would say Sniper bothers me more than any other hero because it stops my Luna. I can't just go in and take down all their towers with my glaives. You know what I mean?
I suppose. I mean, Luna's still pretty darn good, and like she can just outfight a sniper. And, like, she's super fast. You can get on top of them.
Mm-hmm. So
Luna, God, I hate Luna so much.
I love Luna so much. So I used to do a Wraithband Tango start with Luna, which it makes a lot of sense. It's 9 damage because you get the 6 agi plus 3 damage, right? Gives you some int, gives you some strength. Pretty good. I think it gives you like 36 health, 30 or maybe more than that because it's 18. Maybe
health, right? It's 3 strength.
So it'd be like 45 or 54 actually. So it gives you.
What numbers are you
lot.
giving right now?
18
3
times
strength
3.
is not 18. What are you getting 18 from?
I thought you
3 is 60.
It's not 20 strength per one, is it?
Yeah, each
I
point.
thought it was 18.
No, you might be thinking of mana.
Mana's 12.
That's because 13 mana boy. Yeah, but you get 20 health per point of strength.
Well, damn, I'm getting a lot more out of it. Anyway, I've been loving to do 3 branch circlet salve tango, just like tortellini.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
I was like, that is such a garbage start until I did it, and then you get a wand really quick. It works out really well.
Yeah, I do. I actually played a Luna game the other day, and I do circlet, tango, salve, ring of protection, and then I just rush the Aki. Get Bassi early so you can spam out the enemy at the offlaner, and then you just get your treads, etc. And I usually get a branch too at that build if I'm remembering starting costs, and that way you can finish your headdress real early.
Yep. You can finish your headdress in lane. It's great. It's great. I love it. Yeah. So you don't. So for the longest time, I thought you got the 3 iron branches for 1 to be eaten.
Oh no!
But no, I saved it and it was great. It's wonderful. I had a great time. So, been loving the Luna. I love the patch. I don't see the issue with the patch. I mean, yeah, there are heroes that are annoying, but I really don't feel, even especially after my discussion with Proud yesterday, going over kind of some of the more meta heroes like Underlord and Ember Spirit, Slardar. That nothing is exceptionally. It's not like, as Proud put it, it's not like Leshrac mid. Like if you recall Leshrac in 6.84 mid, like that was just stupid. It was just dumb. Like the lightning would bounce way too far, and then you just get hit with that big spike pit that Leshrac does. And it was Split Earth, and it was just bullshit. But now you're dealing with Ember Spirit, which I complained and complained and complained. OP. I called the OP wolf, but it does take some skill to do the Magic Ember. It really does.
Also, like, it's not nearly as OP, just like numerically. Like, also, people have kind of figured out how to play around it and like adapted to it. I honestly don't see it that much anymore. I haven't seen it in like a while.
I see it a lot. I think it has more to do with like pros do it, or if pros do it and then it like sinks down, and it like people at higher skills stop doing it, and then like eventually the 1K people stop doing it, and then it's out of meta. So right now it's like really prevalent in like that barely very high skill level, like barely like 3,700.
Yeah.
I see it almost every game, but basically build pipe, be cautious of his remnants, walk away from them. If you get chained, get Greaves. Greaves are awesome against Ember Spirit. So, I mean, even as Viper, if I'm up against an Ember mid, I'm not going to rush them, but I will definitely get Greaves at some point. I will finish my mech into Greaves, usually like as a 6th slot item, but Viper does well with Greaves, and he does well with Pipe. Viper doesn't really need too much. He just needs to survive and keep hitting people, because the lower their health is, the more damage he does, etc., etc., etc. What about you? What have you been playing in your limited time of playing?
Let's see. My games. Let's see. I actually played a couple Invoker games recently, and boy, he is not terrible, but he's definitely way worse than he used to be. Like, it hurts. So yeah, I've been playing a bit of Invoker, just a couple games. I played an Alk game that was terrible. Some guy ran him to Alk, and I had to play it, and like the other team had a bunch of Alk counters. It was
like hard Alk counters, like Ancient Apparition, or like PA.
Like, let's see, they had Clockwork Ricky that were just sitting in my lane, and then they had a Viper that rotated top, and they basically 4-man top. I had to play safe lane Alk too, which really hurt.
We are all good to go, by the way, guys. Everybody's prepped and ready.
I know. Know we're recording.
We know. That's because we're recording the show. Thank you. Thank you, though. Usually the producers try and produce the show and not guide the show.
I'm sorry.
He's breaking the mold.
Okay.
Guys.
That's first strike. We do a 2-strike rule.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's not single elimination, it's double elimination. So let's not let that happen again, okay?
Yep.
Roger.
But yeah, anyway, I also played a Weaver game, and that was really easy. I don't know. Like, I haven't played enough to be like really spamming anything or anything. I've been replaying Skyrim and reading those books I talked about last week still. I'm almost done with that.
What were those books that you were talking about last week?
The Sookie Stackhouse novels.
What are those?
Vampire romance novels.
Oh,
they're really stellar fiction, especially if you are like me, a middle-aged woman.
My wife would love to start a book club with you. I mean,
they're like the only books of the genre I read, and honestly, I skip most of the sex scenes. But
why?
I like, because that's
you're too young. I forgot. Sorry.
No, so I feel like I'm gonna. The thing about it is, like, they legitimately make a really interesting universe in the series, and also, like, I read them with like hatred in my heart the whole time because True Blood is like such a terrible show that they messed up so much. You know, the book material is so good, but they're just fun. Like they're just relaxing and like I don't know, they're very like non-stressed. Like I turn my phone to airplane mode and I just sit and I read a book for a while. It's great. I'm almost done with them though, and then like I'll have to go play
What does
Dota again.
airplane mode do?
It turns like everything off basically. Like your phone is on, but like nobody can call you, nobody can text you. The internet's off. Like you could use it as a clock, and that's about it. And like I turn it there and I leave it behind me. That way, like it's for me. It's like if I needed to like check something, I could. But like nobody's gonna text me. I'm not getting push notifications or anything. Like it's very relaxing and zen to like have nothing and just read a book and relax and sit down.
I do other things to relax. Like kick ass at Dota. Yep.
Yeah, I do that enough on a regular basis that I felt like I needed a break. And I was watching Slacks play Skyrim, and that was like that reminded me. I was like, man, I should play Skyrim. I haven't played that game in a long time.
Dude,
and I'm playing that.
I don't think you can really relax and watch Slacks. It's more like you're like on edge. Like, holy shit, this guy is like 99% jet fuel right now. It's not a relaxing stream to watch. It's entertaining, but I wouldn't say relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly just watch. He has like 10-minute clip videos.
He's hilarious. I mean, he's hilarious for
great,
sure. Yeah.
I don't really watch streams, but I said that just for the sake of simplicity. But yeah, I watch his like YouTube VODs where he like condenses his Skyrim gameplay down to like 10 minutes. They're fun. I don't know. Skyrim's a good game. Like, I don't know. Am I like, this is just really boring. I'm just doing a bunch of not Dota things. Yeah. It's great. I'll be back to Dota in the next few days though. Everybody needs a break.
I feel like, no, I don't. I don't. I wish I could play more Dota 2. I have a great time with it. I have this cool night crew that play it, like that watches the stream at like 3 a.m., 5 a.m. Eastern, and they're all from like New Zealand, Denmark, Australia in some cases, and it's a fun night crew. And so every night I get to stream with these people who are usually sleeping while we're streaming other things, so it's fun.
Yeah, I always wonder about that because like I get to work and I check my email and it's like, oh, .p TV was streaming at 1:30 a.m. or something, and of course like I'm EST, so it's even later for me than it is for you.
Yeah,
but I'm always interested to know like because obviously somebody's watching it, so I was like, who?
It's about like 10 people. But last night like 40 people came in, or like 30 people came in. And I was like, you guys don't want to be here. It was like, It was a bad business move for sure. But I was like, I was just full disclosure. I was like, I'm 3.65K. I'm sure there's a better stream on. For one, you have no relationship with me. I'm loud. I'm gonna say things you probably disagree with. And then all of a sudden the number just went back down to the night crew. It was great. So yeah. I'm
always nervous when random people come in too.
I had like 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah. So. Every once in a while somebody comes in and like they type like some Twitch generic thing like, you know, MMR or whatever to like know what they're watching, and I'm like, you clearly did not know what this is supposed to be, my friend. And they usually leave pretty quickly. But I
like literally like cat called them away. Anyway, we're gonna take a call because we are Tuesday Q&A where we take live callers. Are you ready? Are you ready to take a call?
I am quite ready. I have my hands open and my mind opener.
Actually, we have. Hold on. We might, before we want to start the show, we actually have a user submitted good or garbage that we may want to go through. Okay. Yeah, Denny. We'll go ahead and take that good or garbage. Definitely want that. I'm gonna probably. Okay, I can do that. Okay, I can handle that. All right, are you ready? This is a speed run, good or garbage. Okay. There's no other answer than good or garbage. Are you ready?
Yep.
Plus 15% spell amp on Ember.
Garbage.
Viper.
Just in general, garbage.
Radiant.
Good.
Elite Dangerous.
Good, because the alien thing.
Deafening Blast.
Good.
Jordan Hansen.
Good in recent times.
Chilled Wind. Garbage. Plus 6 treants.
The jury's out on that one.
Plus 6 treants.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, thank you. That was from Jordan Hansen. Good or garbage? I loved that. I loved that little segment. I wish we could add more of it. Okay, so our first caller today is going to be Mr. Blue. Not to be confused with Mr. Blue, another community member. Although I'm sure their MMRs are similar. Mr. Blue, his MMR is 2,000, and he has a question for us. Mr. Blue, what is your question, sir?
Hi, guys. My question was, I started off at like 1,500. In order to climb to 2K, I had to play support. And now that I'm at 2.7, in order to climb to that spot, I had to play carry role, safe lane carry. And now I'm kind of stagnant again. So I'm trying to see what I need to do. I've started playing a little bit off lane, and it seems to be working. Is there any correlation as to far as how I'm climbing MMR and changing roles?
What carries are you playing?
I'm playing Luna, and I'm also playing... let me see. I was playing Troll the other day as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
think
so good. So good.
Luna's obviously like she's the hero to play, right? And Troll's actually quite good now as well, although he's kind of like finicky, I would say. Like he has games where he really dominates. But regardless of the hero specific stuff, I would say what's clearly evident here, right, is that you're gaining MMR whenever you're switching roles, and through the nature of switching roles, you're kind of diversifying your knowledge base of Dota skill, right? So it's kind of like I've had similar things, right? When I've switched roles, I have gained MMR because it introduces concepts that you were either familiar with but did not put in practice before, or concepts that you were completely unaware of. So, for instance, like you were talking about going from support and then you transition to carry. So you pull over those things you learn from support and like, oh, hey, they're going to have wards here. They're probably going to have vision here. They're going to have X, Y, and Z. I need to, I need to position myself so that the CM is not in range, yada, yada, yada. And then you implement those into your carrying position. And then going forward, you have just an additional knowledge base, basically, to pull from. So now if you went to offlane, let's say, you would then be diversifying your experience in Dota even more, right? So I think that's like honestly the best way to just get better at the game in general. And like climbing MMR is a symptom basically of getting better at Dota. So I think clearly like you're in the right trend. But I do think like stagnation is just a thing that happens. Like I think we all naturally stagnate and plateau for certain points until you get like that next thing that like really just clicks, or like that hero that you really start to like mesh with or whatever. Like plateaus are very natural, so I wouldn't worry about that. But I do think you're definitely like on the right track of just like diversifying your roles and doing what feels right. And you can climb MMR with any role to varying degrees of quickness. So yeah. I would just say keep switching it up.
Yeah. Also, Danny read some article on Reddit about some guy who climbed to 6,000 MMR very quickly, and he was talking about the difference between like 0 to 1K, and then like then I think he cited like 2K to 3.5K, and he said focus on playing carry split pushers because nobody in that bracket carries TPs. Yep. You kind of already are to a certain degree with Luna. That's a split pusher for sure. But you might want to add in like a couple other pretty good split pushers. I don't know. Ursi split pushers that are good.
Lycan's pretty good right now. I would say like focus more on like the fundamentals, right? Because like if you focus on like hero specific stuff, you're gonna get hurt like next patch, right? But it is like that's a good way to learn specific things where it's like, okay, I don't split push well, and so I'm going to play, AM, and you can play split pushing AM and do that kind of stuff, and that's gonna be real good in a lot of brackets, etc. Yeah, AM is great for split pushing. Mm-hmm. So it's good to diversify your heroes, or rather diversify the amount of skills you're gaining, like learning a split push, and in turn learning how to deal with split push. So yeah, I mean that makes sense. I did remember reading that thread, and it was pretty generalized, but it was some good base.
Yeah, it seemed good. Mr. Blue, what do you think? Do you think that you just have like climbed that plateau? Do you think you're better than your MMR?
Sometimes I feel that way, and then sometimes I have a really bad game, and I'm like, I'm surprised I'm at this bracket. But yeah, I feel like I should be at about 3 point something. Every once in a while, I do have some pretty good games, but I think that I definitely have a little bit better knowledge, and I still obviously think I need to get better at some points. But yeah, I appreciate you guys answering the question. That helps quite a bit.
Of course.
Yeah, sure. Great question.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Ursi, go ahead and take an email question. Let's do this.
All right. Okay. From Boomslang, he is 1889.
Boomslang.
Keep having these games where I do very well in the laning stage of the game, and our team gets out early, but the other team usually has a PA or Slark, and they always seem to come back regardless of how poor a start they have. My question is, what is the best way to combat these heroes that are more or less going to get what they need to be strong, even if they are in a hole? In these situations, I usually start to jungle a bit after tier 1s have been taken, and that seems to be when things shift. And then he continues, another question I have is, well, we'll answer the first question first.
Yeah,
so
one at a time.
He answered his own question, basically. It's a very common thing for players in all tiers, I'll say. It's very common for you to think, all right, I just did a bunch of good things, so now I'm going to relax for a couple minutes, when in actuality what you should be doing is keeping them on, right? So for using your example, if you take all the tier 1s and then you go back to jungle, what you should be doing is you take all the tier 1s and then you take that momentum and you go forward and you take a tier 2, or you threaten a tier 2, force them to fight it and then go Roche, or get a pick off and then get a tier 2. You want to keep that aggression on, right? Because if you're going back to your jungle, then all the map control you've gotten from taking their tier 1s and all the gold you've gotten is negligible, right? Because you're just farming neutral creeps. Like, they don't care whether you have 2,000 extra gold. And so you're allowing space to be retaken by the enemy that they should not have. So that's the simple answer, basically, is keep the pressure on, right? Don't let them get that stuff. It's all about, when you're playing against anybody who, especially the super greedy carries like a Naga or a Spectre, but even to a lesser extent, things like you talk about PA and Slark, if it's 16 minutes and Slark has a Claymore and Shreds, you're doing great. Keep that up. You don't want him to suddenly get a few and suddenly have a Shadow Blade at a decent timing, right? You want to take advantage of the fact that he is disadvantaged.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, there's no better example. I know this subject is tired, but Viper, I take all the tier 1s, and then, okay, guys, all the tier 1s are down. What tier 2 do you want to take? Which one?
Yep.
Let's do it. Because all that gold, that's 3,000 gold for your team. That's somewhere 600 gold for you. So, and plus you're getting passive gold as this is happening, so you can really equate that to a pretty good chunk of change, plus the fights that are going to be happening. You're probably ahead on net worth if you've taken all their tier 1s. Focus a tier 2 and start to be all right, which one do you want to take? And Luna will be well, I'm in safe lane, so let's take my tier 2. And so everybody just goes down to where Luna is, and you take her tier 2. And then at that point, more momentum. And then at that point, you can start to taste the shrines. You can start to taste them crumble. And obviously, killing shrines is good, not only for the gold, but you seize so much control of the map. They can't just TP out and get away. I mean, they can't just get there, farm, and then get away. They have to literally walk to where they want to farm and walk back, which you got to figure is a huge waste of their time. Just literally turn the heat up. I don't know, what's something you cook on a frying pan that you have it on low and then you turn it on high? Is there anything?
Start it low and turn it high. I don't know. I was thinking of when you make a steak and the fire kicks up or whatever. I was thinking about that. I don't know.
If your fajitas catch on fire, do not blow the fire out. Let them burn. Okay, so
I don't think you've ever cooked before. The thing I'll say is that the other added benefit of putting the pressure on and keeping the pressure on is it forces the enemy team to make risky decisions. Because they're not the Slark that's underfarmed. He's not going to sit in his base, right? He's going to think,
I need farm. I need farm. I need Shadow Blade.
Farm.
I need my
so
next
he's
thing.
going to go up top and overextend, and you can kill him and then definitely take that tier 2 compared to him being in a fight. So it forces them to make those hard decisions, and especially, I wouldn't even say especially in low MMRs. In every MMR, people have stuff, right? So if they don't have stuff, they're going to be thinking in their mind, like, I need to find a way to get stuff, whether it's XP or gold. They are going to have to make those risky plays and be like, okay, well, I'm going to have to go out to top lane to farm. And then you kill them because they shouldn't have been there, but they are like, they feel that desperation to get gold and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree. Okay, so our next caller.
So next part. No. Wait,
we're gonna get
the next
into
part of the question.
Okay.
It's quick. So another question I have is with respect to supporting against enemy invis heroes. I support more than I carry, and typically only support. Buying a million sentry wards keep me at more or less just my boots, and it like that creates a 5-4 situation because I will die instantly. I've only had success doing this as I play Lion and Rubik. I understand that as a support you're going to have less items most of the game, but buying sentry rewards every time I get 200 gold is not fun. Is there another way to support in this situation? No, not really. You just gotta suck it up.
You're a 6. We learned about this last week.
Yeah, it's not particularly fun, but winning games is fun, and you got to do it to win the game. So that's kind of my 2 cents. It's one of those harsh truths of Dota is like, it doesn't matter how miserable you are, you got to buy wards.
Like, if you want to have fun in the game, don't buy sentries, and then you won't have fun in the game. If you want to have fun with winning, buy sentries. Don't have fun in the game and have fun with that plus 25 that you just throw up in the air and have it rain down on you as you climb further and further toward your personal goal.
Yeah, and like there is like just use your sentries better. Like if you have very few sentries, make sure your spots are covering as much ground as you can. Don't throw them down in a push. Like for instance, the common thing is like you throw a sentry down when you're pushing in tier 1. But if that tier 1 already has 15% health, you don't need to throw a sentry down unless there's going to be a fight, right? If you see Ricky top and you're pushing bottom, whatever, like it doesn't matter. You don't need to put a sentry for a guy that's not there. So that's it. Like,
yeah, I would agree.
Better and suck it up.
if you're picking the Rubik or the Lion and you expect to like be lavished in like ethereal blades and early blink daggers or something like that, don't ever go into a game with that expectation, because you're just going to be let down. So
yeah. I mean, like, mitigated, of course, like, stay alive through fights. That's, like, the number one thing. If you're an underfarm support, just live through, like, one fight, and you're going to have a ton of money. And, like, that should be your goal, especially on, like, something like Rubik. Like, edges, and, like, you could alive through a fight, and, like, that's huge. So, that's a simple advice. It's not really fun advice. There's no real trick to it. There's no, like, secret sentry ward vendor that's going to help you out and be like, oh, boy, you're poor. Here's a sentry for 75 gold.
Yeah. And
like, no,
another thing that I see often is just, like, okay, so I'll have... they come in packages of 2 because you have to buy sentries at Costco. What I see often happening, like, okay, I'm playing Shadow Demon, or I don't do this, but somebody's playing Shadow Demon... And they buy 2 sentries and they go to lane and they're up against the Weaver. And they place both sentries. One up toward, up in the lane and one in like the middle of the lane. Don't do that. Use them one at a time. I mean, you really don't need vision of the entire lane between your tier 1 and their tier 1. You just need to be able to have enough vision of Weaver as he Sakuchi's around, or Ricky. You just need to be able to have fall back to the sentry. It's basically planting a tower there that doesn't attack back, but it allows you to attack back. So you just need to look at it as like, I don't want to use both my sentries right off the bat. You can either get 4 minutes of sentries, or you can get 8 minutes of sentries. And if you have 8 minutes, 200 gold, you're getting 800 gold in just passive over that 2 minute or over that 8 minutes for 200 gold. So really, you shouldn't have an issue. You just probably need to place them better. And a little smarter. If you're taking a tier 1 and your whole team's there, a Weaver can't kill all of you. You don't necessarily even need to see him. So just take the tier 1, don't place a sentry, and back up. I think Ursi already got that point, though.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, you actually brought up a very valuable, and this will be the last sentence on it, but think about what invis heroes you're trying to deal with, right? If it's a Ricky, you want to have those defensive wards. Otherwise, he's going to pop in on you and, like, cloud you real quick. But if it's like a Weaver, like you said, that's more of a reactionary thing. Like, oh, a fight started, I'm going to Shikuchi, right? Because they're always going to start the fight with bugs, and then you know that he or she is coming in, right?
Yeah.
So think about that.
And even if you suspect Ricky, like, oh, Ricky's not mid anymore, stand under your sentry. You don't need to have two of them. You just need one, really, for laning phase. All right, our next question comes from the Real Ports. His MMR is 26,000. Real Ports, what is your question, sir?
I can't believe I have 26,000 MMR.
I know.
I was going to say, you should be the host of this show.
It's crazy.
So my question is mainly geared toward Roland, although I don't know if Ursi you've ever dealt with this before, but it's about your Smurf. How long was the gap between knowing you were way better than your MMR and then creating your Smurf, like finally caving and going, I'm better than this?
Okay. I knew I was way better than how I played from my very first game of Dota 2.
Don't we all?
I knew the first moment that I jumped on that lich that I was playing some high-level shit. But seeing as we were doing a podcast oriented around newer players, I thought that I would leave my 5K sleeper agent self at rest and pretend to be bad at the game. Once people started, climbing above me and rubbing it in my face, I had to create a new account and show them that I'm actually a 3.65 player. So really, I discovered that when to answer your question honestly, it was when I wanted to give up because my team, and I know everybody says this and it sucks, and I know people have climbed out of this the legitimate way, which is by like not smurfing, but when you put yourself as Luna safe lane and you pick it, and then somebody else is like, no, I'm safe lane, they pick Slark and they put it safe lane, your chances of having a successful game have just been kind of like flushed down the toilet. So that's what really got to me, was the fact that people weren't even willing to build a team. Like, losing at the draft sucks. Losing before you even buy your items. Well, I guess now you could buy your items before you lose. But, like, the second you go into the game and the Slark's just, like, fighting you for the rune. You already put your hero there. You already picked Luna. You would have gladly picked a support, but you picked Luna already and he picked Slark. That's what really got to me. And that's when I wanted to create a Smurf. Originally, I created a Smurf to recalibrate, and then the new Smurf that I'm on is I wanted to play Morphling, and I was just like, I'm just going to play Morphling. I don't give a fuck who is in safe lane with me. I'm just going to play Morphling every game, and I did that for a long time, and then I was like, wow, I'm climbing, like, my estimated MMR from Open Dota is 7,800. I should keep going on this. And then, I don't know, that was really the big thing, is that people just wouldn't come together. Like, it was so frustrating that it was like, and no one wants to support, and even the supports that do pick support are like, I'm going Ags, like level 1. Yep. I'm not going to buy support items. Yeah, like, I'm just getting an Ags right away. And so that just got to a point where I was just so frustrated that I knew how to last hit. I knew for the most part how to take a fight, but I'm only 20% of my team, right? I can only do so much, and having no vision on the map, and then spending my gold on sentries and observers as a Luna sucks because it delays my power curve. It was just frustrating, and I knew that if I were playing with better people, I'm sure we could build a team better. That was
for sure.
It's really.
I've never. I mean, like, I have a Smurf that I inherited, and then I was making a Smurf as a practice account, because like I get a lot of ladder anxiety. So, and especially this was when I was first learning mid, or not learning mid, but like reacclimating myself to mid. And so I was making an alternate account, and obviously that didn't pan out. I ended up just leaving it. It's like level halfway there, a little past halfway, because I want to have a practice account. But I will say, I don't know. I've never, like, I've had this account. That's my main account for a very long time. And I only calibrated out of spite. Like, I just wanted to prove to somebody that my number would be higher than theirs, and that's the entire reason I calibrated, like, in the first place. So, like, I don't know. Smurfing was never something that I really did.
I don't even think I'm smurfing anymore. Like, my main account is the other account now.
Yeah. And Smurf is such, like, a deceptive term. Like, there's so many meanings and stuff, and, like,
I'm not just going to stop at 4K, too. Like, say I get 4K, I'm not just going to be like, I'm satisfied with that number, moving on to a different account. I'm gonna I'm gonna constantly test myself and constantly try and get better. And having a team or having people that are willing to be like, okay, we need an off lane, a safe lane, a mid, a 4 position, and a 5 position. You're going to get that in high skill, or 3,000 and above. You're generally going to get that with less exceptions. And then I feel like the higher you get up, it's more into semantics on, that's a shitty Shadow Fiend. What a shitty Shadow Fiend mid, or why would you pick Shadow Fiend into that matchup? That's dumb. At least you still have a functioning team, opposed to Enigma mid or something like that, which baffles me. What about you, Ports? Are you anti-Smurf? Are you not one to go to Smurf land?
No, I just started, and I was inspired partially by you.
Oh, wow. How's it going? How many games in are you?
4 games.
You're getting there?
That's a real commonality. I see that all the time when when somebody has a Smurf and it does well, immediately other people are like, man, maybe I should make it.
Well, it just
it's people see it do well and they're like, boy, I could do that. And sometimes it works out. I've also seen plenty of people Smurf and then they calibrate within real account, and it's like, oh boy,
calibrate lower. I've seen that happen, and
I've seen that also.
Here's the thing with your Smurf. Treat it I treated it very seriously. If I was tired, if I didn't feel good, if I was at all impatient, if there were a bunch of stipulations I put on myself, because I already had another account if I wanted to play Dota. So only when I was feeling I feel like I can win was I jumping on that Smurf, and that started from probably game 20 to game 140. It takes about 140 games before you can start playing ranked. So you've got a little ways to go, Ports.
Yeah, that's fine. So my 2 games in, I'm in very high skill, which is a good bump up from 2,600.
That's
and the average is
1,100.
about 4,300. It's obviously not actually calibrating my ranked, but the average of other people in it is 4,300. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Just keep going. See where you're at 50 games. See where you're at 75 games. See where you're at 100. I'll tell you, it was pretty damn accurate once I got to about 140 games. It said that I was roughly 3.4, and then by the time I did my 10 solo calibration, I was 3.1. And so it was within 300. By the time it had enough data, it calculated my MMR pretty closely.
That's awesome. Cool.
But within 4 games, starting in very high skills, that's cool. I hope you stay there, because you're probably getting a better quality of game. But good luck, dude. And please fill us in on your progress.
Will do.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ports.
Anytime.
To start out in very high skill. It was a cool feeling for me to have my first high skill game, to have my first very high skill game, to have my first high skill win, to have my very first very high skill win. And I know that this doesn't mean anything to people who are 4K and above, because every game they play is very high skill. But you do notice little nuances in there. So anyway, go ahead.
It definitely is different. It is your first 10 games are very finicky. It goes up and down wildly. So 4 games in, if you're in very high skill, that's not super. That's not
an
a tried
indication
and
of
true
anything.
thing.
It's really not an indication.
If
of
after
anything.
40 games you're in very high skill, that's valuable.
Yeah, and after 100 games you're still getting very high skill, then chances are you probably are somewhere around 3.5 to 4K player, maybe higher. So. Yeah.
It's definitely not a bad thing that you're starting in very high skill.
No,
anyway,
it's a good sign for sure. A very good sign.
Let's bang out one of these real quick email questions from Felix XD. MR uncalibrated. I like him already. I'm a big fan of people that have not calibrated. How would the gameplay change or maybe benefit if support items were free? I think this is a question that could be very large and grandiose, but I think the honest answer is that the game would just
have 5 cores.
It would be like Heroes of the Storm. That's how I think of it.
What is Heroes of the Storm?
They don't have items but it's just a brawler. If you had no support items, you would just have more of these 5. You would have a lot less supporting. You'd have 1 person support probably just for the hero role basically, because you can't like you'd still have gold restrictions on the map. Like in a recent Theory Crafting Thursday game, we had a team and we had like an Enigma and 3 cores, and then 1 support. And like even if neither me or the other support had to buy support items, there still just is not enough gold on the map to support all those cores. But I think if there were no support items, you would see a lot more games with no supports, or like people that are just like trying to get every little bit of gold out of the map. So I think it would kind of just be a complete mess, honestly. That would be an interesting game mode. It would also suck, like, well, I mean, they'd be free. I was thinking like if they just didn't exist, that would be wild. That would be terrible. But if they were free, I don't know. It would be. I wouldn't like it. I'll say that. I think it would kind of mess with the balance of like gold division across the team a lot. So
yeah, it would be
free for like a week.
I feel like
Invis Heroes would suck.
Invis Heroes would absolutely suck, because there would be no reason if you had an open slot not to just have. And like, I don't know, like support items, like, are we including? I guess we're including dust. I guess we're including smoke. I guess we're including everything. So gem, gem is free. I guess so, but like it'd still be timed. I wouldn't want to play in that Dota world. Is all I've got to say. I like the fact that sentries cost so much, because it's a balancing act for the Invis heroes. It sucks to be Ricky, and if there were just sentries literally everywhere at all times, then you were just this slow moving, easy to kill guy that is always seen. So there would be no reason for Invis. Interesting. It would be a funny game mode for sure.
Yeah, I do like. Obviously, a microcosm of this is how they have just been making support items cheaper gradually over the course of things, the course of like the last couple of years.
Not sentries. Not
sentries. Well, that's a balancing thing. Like, you have to have sentries be expensive.
Yeah.
But so I think that's kind of like a similar dynamic, right? Where we've kind of hit, I think, like the perfect medium of like support items are just expensive enough that there's a dichotomy between support farm and core farm. And supports are still super necessary, and it's kind of like a well-established place, but they still like they're cheap enough, like wards and all that are cheap enough that you can still like have a good time. So
yeah, for sure. Okay, so we are going to take our next call-in question. This is from the Oracle, MMR 1600. Oracle, what is your question?
My question's about Luna. She's really good this patch, everyone's saying. I've been using her for a while now, and I've always found her really good. What makes her so good in this patch, though?
I mean, she's kind of like you've been saying. You've been playing Luna for a while, and I mean, Luna's historically she's had some weak points, but her like weak points were never because of her kit itself, like her spells and all that were not weak. It was just like balancing wise, her stats were weak, or the items she bought were weak. But right now, and in 6.88, up till now, I should say, she's in like a perfect middle ground of like the hero itself is very good. She has solid talents. She fits the kind of metagame of like she's really good at fighting a lot. She's really good at pushing. She's super, super mobile because she's crazy fast. And also the other big thing is the items that she buys are very good right now. The Manta, which got nerfed recently, like Dragonlance is still an amazing item.
I think that's the big thing is Dragonlance.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the big things.
I mean, it's up there. It's an extension to one of her best skills, being glaives. So,
I mean, you're exactly right. Mm-hmm. Like she used to be weak or not super weak, but she used to have a key weakness in that. Yeah, she was super good at pushing, but she had to like basically get all the way uphill to get those out bouncing and everything. But now she could sit like at a relative ease and still get those glaives out bouncing. So really, like she's very well rounded.
Yeah, I agree. She's well rounded, so she can fight early, she can fight mid, she can fight late. That's another thing with Luna is that She sees a little bit of a spike when she gets her Dom. She sees a little bit of a spike when she gets her Lance. She sees a little bit of a spike when she gets her Treads. She sees a little bit of a spike when she gets level 7 with 4 levels in Lucent Beam and ulti. If she gets caught out, she can usually win a one-on-one if she gets caught out. She's just kind of like a perfect hero. She can take one-on-one fights. She can win early game. She can push towers. She can win mid game. She can win late game. She can destroy racks before you can even TP to get there to try and save them. Just an all-around incredible hero. I want to say that Luna was definitely played a lot before 7.0, but 7.0 has been so skirmishy. And so, like, split, like, it's either, like, 5v3 and then the 3 back up and, like, you just take a tower. It's very rarely, like, 5-on-5. And Luna does really well in small skirmishes. Luna can actually take a 3v5 and win it in some cases with proper execution. So, yeah. Luna, good hero. Keep picking it. Oracle, do you play Luna?
Yeah, I do. I play her a lot. I've been playing her since probably about 6.7, sometime around then.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, good success?
Yeah, she's probably one of my best heroes. Her, Susan, Benj are the ones that I tend to do really well on.
Very cool.
But yeah, I tend to split push a lot with her.
That's what you should do.
That's the way to do it. And, like, she has mixed damage, too. So, like, if they have a BKB, you could still hit them. Or if they have Glimmer Capes, or rather, if they have a BKB, you could still hit them. But if they have, like, Evasion, you're still doing damage. Like, it's great to have that that mixed damage type.
Very diverse
She's
hero.
just great.
Yeah, a very diverse hero.
I think that's why I started playing her a lot, was because I could find she worked in a lot of situations. And I could change up her build differently depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And like she doesn't have direct counters, right? Because like in patches where it's like, oh, PA is really good. It's like, okay, well, we could just like get MKVs, or you pick things that can deal with her, like stuff like that. Whereas Luna, it's like, okay, she's really good, and like there's some general things you can
Shadow
do.
Demon.
Yeah, like you can Shadow Demon her own Manta Illusions. That's quite good. You can also, like Roland was talking about earlier, you can keep her far away from your base with heroes like Techies or Sniper. That'll fend her off for a while. But like, she's just good at a variety of things, and there's no like direct like, okay, they pick Luna, therefore we're gonna pick, this hero and win. Like, there's no hero to fit that spot. Like, there are heroes that are good against Luna, but she's just really like, she's first pickable. She's never bad, I would say. Like, there's no situation where like, oh darn, my carry picked Luna, we lost. Like, that's not a thing that happens. So yeah, keep playing Luna, that's for sure.
Definitely. Oracle, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you for taking time.
Ooh, cut you off. I'm sorry. I just, my bad. You was just, had to get him off there. Okay.
All right.
What?
That's what I was just saying.
I thought that was Denny. I thought you were Denny for a second. I was like, what in the fuck? Disrupting our show again. Let's go ahead and read another email question, sir.
Yeah. Let's, all right, so here is one that we've had for a little while now, and apparently you did not know this game beforehand, which I was alarmed with when I was talking to Cycles about it. So, Jordan Hansen sent us in a question. Both of us have to play, I have to keep up my no cursing on the podcast thing. We have to play Marry, Kill, Bang, and then Marry, Kill, Dota. And so we have to do it with all the other hosts, right? So you would have to pick from me, Cyphus, and Proud, and give one, like denote one to Marry, one to Kill, and one to Dota, or
Bang.
Yeah, or Bang. I don't know how there's 4 categories. I'm just at a loss.
It's Marry, Kill, Bang.
Yeah, like traditionally, but then he changed it to Marry, Kill, Dota. Anyway, my answer would be Marry Cyphus, definitely. That's 1,000%. Absolutely. Are you kidding? You and Proud as the other options?
I thought we would marry because we opposites attract. You know what I mean?
No.
We would have a flowering relationship. Wow, that hurts my feelings. But go on.
No, I would
marry Cyphus. Wow.
Yeah, dude, Cyphus, he's responsible. I could just like trust him to do everything.
I'm responsible.
Yeah, but like you're a different kind of responsible. Like I trust you with .p, but like I wouldn't trust you to like keep me fed and clothed as a human being.
No, I can't even trust myself to do that. So.
Yeah. Then again, you're the one with a child, so maybe like you'll be cultivating these talents. So if we answer this question again in like a year, maybe it'll be like definitely Roland.
Maybe.
But then, God, the other ones are just hard. Like I don't want to kill any.
You know, you'd want to kill me. Let's be honest.
No,
you'd want to kill me.
I might be on. I might kill Proud. Actually, I think that's. And he's always making those like I want to die jokes. So like maybe I'd be hooking him up. And then I guess that would leave you for either Bang or Dota, whichever one we decide to do. I'm down for either.
Bang.
So I'm content.
Except
I think that's my.
And finally, you're over the legal age of banging.
What do you mean, finally?
So. Oh yeah. Okay. So do I do this now? Marry, kill, bang. So definitely, I'd probably. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of already married to a certain degree to Denny.
I feel like you're more married to Proud than anything else. Your guys' shows are like the most married couple thing. Gee.
All right, fine. Marry, Proud, kill you for sure. But I've already done that. That's right. I've already done that. Kill Denny to inherit his all of his shares within .p, which I'd make sure he signs some clause that if he gets randomly killed, they get passed on to me. So marry, Proud, kill Denny, and probably bang you again.
That's fair. I'm glad we're in agreement on one of these.
Yeah. Okay, that's a question. Okay. All right, let's take our next live caller. Kumamizu, MMR 1350. Kuma, what is your question, sir?
Hey guys, this question is mainly for Ursinity, but Roland, I don't know if you
I
applied to it.
play D&D.
Oh, hey,
tons
don't
and
spoil
tons.
it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right,
Sorry.
so Ursi, you closed the show last time by rolling your D8 to determine who got the $20 Steam card, and I was curious because you called them D&D dice, what your past experiences with D&D were.
So I played D&D, but not super seriously. Like I have a friend who's a very good DM. Like he like I shouldn't even say like Cyphus. Like I feel like
Cyphus is a way better DM, and this question should be pointed at me and Denny, not this fucking poser over here. But go ahead, Ursi.
I will say I played D&D like for fun, and we do it for like role playing.
He probably plays like Khajiits, and he probably plays like dwarves and shit.
I don't play Khajiits. I am actually playing a human wizard that's name is Aladdin, but I will say
that's fucking lame. You're not even getting into character.
It's fun, dude. It's just like a good time. So I'll say that like I enjoy playing D&D with my friends, but we don't play a ton, and it's more like casual. We're not super try hard about it. And then I'll say the first time I played D&D, like the first time I'd ever sat down at a table with the dice, I died in the first encounter, and I lost the character that I had spent like the last hour creating, and that was not fun. I died immediately, so that was my first time playing D&D. And
you don't know shit.
I died to kobolds.
You don't know.
It's not great.
It's kobold, and you don't know shit. Okay, about Dungeons and Dragons. What version?
Roland and Cyphus are much more qualified.
What version do you play?
I don't 5.0, right? 5.0, that's the right answer. I don't know. I barely know what version Dota we play, all right? I don't need this. I don't need your sass. I also played Call of Cthulhu. That's fun.
That's way fun. Cthulhu is creepy and like
Cthulhu, I thought it'd be fun. It was also like the second time I'd play like any D&D variant. I thought it'd be fun.
Okay, it's not a D&D variant. It's just a D20 base tabletop.
I don't need this right now.
It's not a variant of D&D.
Anyway, the first... Well, I didn't say it's a variant of D&D. It's a D&D-like game. Kind of like
it's a tabletop.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the first time I played that, I played a character that couldn't speak English, and it was like my second time playing any game like that. So I did not realize the implications when I was like, oh, this would be a funny joke. And then I had to play the whole game, and it was like, yeah, you don't know that information, so you can't do that. It's like, oh, it was terrible. But yeah,
Can I tell a cool story on my past D&D experiences?
please do.
Okay, my name is Darvin Eclipse. Coincidentally enough, I am a human wizard, but I'm a cool human wizard, okay? We have a goblin camp. We have to raid it because they've captured one of our friends. Our scouts estimate there are around 200 goblins in there, and being like level 3, maybe level 4, there's no way we can kill 200 goblins. So I can't remember exactly the spells. Denny, will you come in here and help me tell this story? Because I can't remember what spells I used.
Mr. D&D guy.
I can't remember exactly what they're called, but it was so I have a ignite spell, but it's a touch spell, and then I also have change myself into something else. So I made myself look like a goblin.
Oh man.
Okay, I made myself look like a goblin. I rolled a bunch of charisma checks.
Okay.
You explain it.
Spells?
You explain it. You explain what I did. Or can I? Do you remember what I did?
You're on track. Yeah. You changed yourself into a goblin.
I'm raiding this goblin camp. I changed myself into a goblin, and I have this fire touch spell that can ignite, but I have to touch it to ignite it. And I walk in, and a bunch of goblins are like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I have to roll charisma checks and be like, "I'm here to help build goblin walls." I get up there and I see their oil reserves, okay? And I hurry and yell, "They're attacking! Hurry, take all the oil to the front!" And so all these goblins, and I pass this charisma check yet again, all these goblins take all this oil and run toward the front, to which I ignite the oil, big fire, tremendous fire in the goblin camp, okay?
It was huge. It was the biggest fire the goblins had ever seen.
It was a huge fire. And then I save the girl. No, the girl still got taken by the Red Wizards of Thay. So even after all my work, the woman was taken by Red Wizards of Thay because Denny didn't want us to get this prisoner back. So we created some DM loophole that the Wizards of Thay teleported in and took her, as I did some awesome diversionary badass tactic. Anyway, we ended up...
feels like an alternative story.
This is not an alternative story. This is a factual story. I ended up killing 200 goblins. It was a great time. Denny, it was one of those moments where the DM was like, "You can't do that." And I was like, "Bitch, look at the book." And
I'm surprised.
And we won.
I'm surprised that this is the story you opted to tell rather than your trial.
Okay, we can tell the trial too. The trial was really cool. This was on Gorstag Amblecrown. This was my once human
like you
fighter.
need to be wearing a cape to tell these stories.
He was once a human fighter, but then he turned into a half orc once he died and was reincarnated.
You were reincarnated.
I was reincarnated, and when you get reincarnated, you roll to see what race you come back as. Much to the contrary of resurrection, where you come back as the race you are, or were rather. So, Denny, you've got to tell this story. This is a beautiful story. Denny made this. Please.
No, basically, you got framed for a crime, and we more or less role played a good trial.
There
for
was a jury.
Session.
I had to pick my barrister or my lawyer, and there I went with the sleazy guy. Like there was like honest guy, sleazy guy, cheap guy, and nice. I went with the sleazy guy. It was awesome. Everybody in the group had to testify for me, and Denny just is a great DM. Honestly, before you die, you should spend thousands of dollars to get him to DM a campaign for you, because it is a magnificent time. I've never had more fun than that trial, but then your goddamn girlfriend, who's probably watching this, ruined that trial, if you recall.
I don't recall, no.
She came in.
How did Rin ruin the trial?
Rin ruined the trial because we were about to finish it. You showed up at Harry and Liz's right as the trial was happening.
Oh, you showed up right as the trial was happening.
And we had to stop playing, and then we never...
We resumed the trial.
It got split up. It would have been better all in one session.
Well, it's funny you bring up that you got framed for something in a campaign, because I play almost exclusively like scumbag evil characters, and I also have framed people for crimes and gotten them kicked from the group.
What, named Mario? Did you name him Mario, or did you come up with your own cool name?
So I had this whole plot
you don't play D&D.
to become mayor of a town that we were in briefly. And so the town got attacked by like Naga people, like fish people, and then me and one of my another player framed another player from the group as having been the orchestrator of this, and it involved a lot of like rolling 20s and like really lucky plays, and some artistic use of skills and stuff. But yeah, so that was fun. I play like a politician basically, and it's a lot of fun. Anyway,
Kuma,
do
do you have any cool stories?
Yeah, I do. One time, my group and I were being chased out of a village that had been raided by some group. I forget the name of it, but my friend was an artificer. And for those of you who don't play D&D, you un-nerds, artificers enchant objects. They're basically like alchemists in a way, sort of.
Anime.
And he had a spell called Arcane Springboard, which, much to its name, enchants an object to act like a springboard, which launches an object onto it just vertically.
Nice.
And we were being chased by wolves, and we ran into this house with one entrance being the door, and it had a doormat on it. So, upon running into the house, our artificer said, "Hold on, wait, DM, can I do this? Can I quickly drop an arcane springboard on this doormat?" He said, "All right, yeah, sure, go for it." And the wolves, who had an intelligence of 2, failed the checks, and a couple of sessions later, we heard a couple thuds, and he's like, "Yeah, those are the wolves that were launched a couple groups ago."
That's creative and badass. See, that's what
that's
D&D's
elaborate.
about. You gotta fuck the DM. That's my main goal when playing Dungeons and Dragons with Denny. Is I'm always trying to find some loophole to make Denny's plan go wrong. Because Denny always has it in his mind that something's gonna go a certain way, and I like to stomp on that and make sure it doesn't go the way he had planned. Kuma, you always bring in great questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You played D&D, you fucking poser.
It's fun, all right. I play
fucking
D&D
naming
sometimes.
yourself goddamn Shazam or whatever fuck you name yourself.
Aladdin.
Pfft,
Aladdin. That's
flying
because I have
carpet.
a genie.
It's fucking lame. All right,
Because I have a genie.
really?
All right.
I'm not.
yeah,
at least you play D&D, but you don't. You need a good DM, dude. It sounds like your DM is just like, I bought one book and I have thumbed through it. Let's play D&D.
He's like a super nerd, but he's played for a long time. But like he has like really serious campaigns with other people, and like I've been in on like serious campaigns as like a guest character like once or twice to fill in. But like the main one that we play with like my close friends is like much more casual and it's just like fun. But like he does play like a lot of serious D&D. But that's just I like to have fun.
Okay,
Right.
actually, we're going to not do email questions. We're going to save those for next week. We're going to get live
That's
callers.
fine.
We have a shitload of live callers. Okay, our
Yeah.
next live caller is Pepper Boy. His MMR is 2,000. Pepper, what is your question?
Thanks for having me. My question was, so I heard you guys were talking about smurfing earlier, and that's when I really thought of this question. So I myself have tried smurfing on many different accounts. I actually used one of Jordan Hansen's accounts to calibrate an MMR. But so anyway, I try to calibrate MMRs, and I always seem to stagnate around middle 2K road, which is around 500 higher than I am. But I personally feel I can hit 3K. Is there any way I could make myself hit 3K?
What is it? BoostMMR.com. Hold on, let me get you a website. Do you have a
very
credit
funny.
card?
Yeah. No, I mean the right answer basically is Roland was bringing this up earlier, but if you are making a Smurf, it's very easy, and I know I've done this with Smurf accounts that I've had, is that it's very easy to get complacent and not try real hard because you're like, oh, it's just one game, I have to play 150 of these. But each game really does matter. So I'd say if you really want to commit to having a Smurf and getting it to whatever MMR, whether it's 3K for you or 4K for somebody else or 2K for somebody else, if you're really trying to hit that goal, I would say have an account that, like Ro was saying earlier, you just only play in optimal conditions, and it may take months to calibrate it. But if all right, today I'm going to play 3 games of Dota, and then I'll play 2 games on my regular account. That'll be my warm up, and then if I'm feeling good, I'll play 1 on my Smurf. Do stuff like that, and slowly but surely that account will just get buffed up. If you're only playing it when you're at your best, you're well rested, you're not tilted, etc. So I mean that's one strategy for it. I mean, there's only so much you can do. Like you can't really game the system, so to speak. But that's like probably the best way you could go about it is just like really hone in and only play when you're in those perfect conditions.
Yeah, I would say so as well. It's super easy to be like, I'm 3K, but I'm so for the longest time I was stuck middle of the road 2Ks. Would go up to like 2550, would drop down to 2300. Go up to 2550, would drop down to 2300, and I'm like, I am totally better than these people. I have such great game knowledge. Pepper, do you play a lot of heroes, or do you play like 5 heroes? Do you play like you have a lot of versatility or not a lot of versatility?
I play a role in particular, and I can play any hero within that role.
What role?
Support. I've been playing support for like 3 years.
There's your problem. Right there. Go ahead.
All you support haters.
Go ahead and pick any core, stick with that core, spam it, and you can get your 3K dream, I promise. Just go in and practice last hitting for like 30 minutes, get your last hitting down, pick like 3 carries probably, just in case your 1 carry gets banned, and then you'll get to 3K in no time, because you're playing support in shit tier. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
I mean, it kind of like goes against everything that I like to preach on this show, but there is like, if you really want, like if you have a real personal goal, whether it's like getting that last couple hundred MMR or whatever, you can like definitely the best way to inflate your MMR is just to like play the one, like just play Luna every game. And if it gets banned, play like Sniper or play you know, some other
Luna Sniper, fucking Medusa. It doesn't even matter. Just don't play support ever again until you're higher MMR. That's your main issue.
I mean, like,
or like I said, use an MMR boosting service to get you into a place where people will appreciate your support.
No, because then my friends will never play with me again.
Yeah, those are good friends. That's the people have to have standards. But yeah,
you can talk to Jordan and Knox because they're those friends.
Yeah, I play with Jordan quite a bit, for better or worse. But yeah, no,
I like them. I like Jordan.
God,
I like Jordan.
All you people that hate support, like support's where it's at. Honestly, like if you're like, I understand there is the plight.
You've never been in shit tier. Don't play support in shit tier.
I did like when I was first starting to play Dota. Like,
I can send you some replays of what happens when you play support and crap.
Oh, I mean, dude. Like I see it all the time, of course, because like I watch replays for like replay reviews or even just watching people's games. But like it just goes against everything that I like.
When they're as good as you, then they can play Rubik every game and climb to 5K. But right now, he's in shit tier and he doesn't need your shit advice.
Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, like Roland is right. Like if you really, really just want to get to that next point, just play like 2 heroes over and over. Be like, all right, I'm going to play Storm Spirit and Ember Spirit.
Or Viper.
I'm going to mid every game.
Just Viper, Luna.
Don't play Viper.
Either Viper mid or Luna safe lane. Or Viper anywhere. It doesn't matter. Make your dreams true.
Have some standards.
Don't want your memes be dreams or whatever.
Oh, memes be dreams. All right, we've had enough of you. Thanks so much for calling in. All right. Next caller is going to be Kruger. His MMR is 4,000. It's Kruger. Kruger, what's your question, sir?
Hey, what's up, guys? I actually lost a game, so I'm not 4K again.
You're 4K in our hearts.
You'll always be 4K to me.
Yeah, thanks. My question is about EU versus NA. I know they've been talking about it a little bit on the Reddits. And I have a little bit of data to back up my question. So what I would like from you guys is your entries in this.
Okay.
And your general opinions.
Okay.
On the meta.
We'll definitely give that.
So for EU, I asked a bunch of people. I asked 17 people with an average MMR of 48.52. I asked them what their favorite hero to ban and their 5 favorite heroes to pick. And I just picked the most common answers. So Monkey King and Omni Knight. Omni Knight is the clear number 1 in EU. almost everybody said it. I think 11 people said it out of 17.
Wow.
And Monkey King was the second. And for their picks, it was number 1, Monkey King, number 2, Slark, number 3, Legion Commander, number 4, Pudge, and number 5, Treant.
Huh.
And I asked about comfort picks. So for NA, I only have 9 entries, so it's a bit less. The average MMR is 4271, so that's also a bit lower. Take it into account.
Yes. Well, everybody knows, right? That EU is the better server, right? That's common Reddit knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but true. But I'm asking how come. I'll get to my question.
Sure.
So, the top bans for NA are Luna and Slark, kind of even, and the picks are Weaver, Sniper, Pudge, Jugger, and Silencer. So some differences there between NA and EU. So my actual question is, how come how come the NA can still do really well in competitions and competitive Dota in general when EU should be doing so much better? I mean, they should have the meta evolving much faster, right?
Okay.
And the same with China, actually, because they have so many players.
So, first and foremost, the study is cool, but the study is all within 4 to 5K, right? So we're talking 4 to 5K players and what they prefer. When you get into the super high level, I'm sure there's not a big difference between NA, EU, and China as far as they've got it figured out by now what's good and what's bad. As far as pubs go, I don't know. That's my only 2 cents on that. As far as like why we see NA be so successful and not EU comes down to maybe just more skillful execution and maybe better captaining. But I feel like everybody's kind of privy to what's good and what's not in the pro scene. Yeah? Ursi?
Yeah. I mean, there is an element like China famously, they have their own metagame because their teams all play each other, whereas NA and EU play against each other more often in like random little tournaments, stuff like that, and scrim a lot. So I think regarding pro scene and stuff like that, that's kind of why you don't see like any one region growing super fast and other regions growing slowly or vice versa. I would think like pub wise, it is interesting to me actually that EU is favoring banning Omni Knight so much, because honestly, like I don't even see Omni Knight that much anymore. Like he's really good, don't get me wrong, but like I'm not super bothered by him.
I was really surprised as well.
Yeah, I mean he's still like a super high win rate hero, but like Treant is also super high win rate, and that is like I don't ban Treant even though I know he's super high win rate. My bans are always Luna, and if I don't have to ban Luna, I'll ban Meepo, because you don't want to get like some sneaky guy that plays Meepo that is just going to ruin your day. Like that's scary. So I usually just ban Luna and Meepo. Even Monkey King, like Monkey King's super good. I'm not too concerned about Monkey King because people
just
been moving away from it.
It's just a remnant from the start of this patch and how it was like, oh god, we have Monkey King, we're gonna lose. Oh god, they have Monkey King, we're gonna lose. Oh thank god he's banned.
Yeah, I mean
that study is really interesting though, because I really, it's weird that you would see such stark differences. Granted, your sample size isn't huge, Kruger.
It's tiny. I tried to get more, but I couldn't.
But it's still like not in it's not one person, it's not 2 people. I mean, it's still pretty significant. I think it's cool that they ban Omni Knight because Omni Knight is a ridiculously good hero. But on the same token, I haven't seen much of him either. I think it comes down to Omni Knight isn't fun to play, but is extremely good. Do you guys agree? Like, does anybody like to play that hero? I don't like to play it, but I know I'm okay at it.
Oh, I think he's fine. I think it's fun. Like, he's tanky, he heals people, he repels. I haven't played him since his like changes, but I used to play Omni Knight constantly. Like most played heroes, like all the way back. I think it's pretty fun.
I've never found him to be fun. I found him to be like, oh shit, this is happening, ult. Oh shit, this guy repel. Oh shit, this guy heal. Like,
I find him like satisfying to play. I'll say like all his spells are very like his animation has like that, or rather his like melee hits have that like strong sound behind them, and it's very satisfying.
Yeah.
And then like Purification is just a fun spell to use. Like it just does things, and you're like, boy, I just did that thing, and I did it real good. Like, I think that was pretty fun.
I will also say that Slark being on both NA and EU makes a lot of sense. Slark is a silent killer, man. It
was on the bans for NA and on the picks for EU.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I banned Slark. I'm another one of those people that banned Slark. I just hate that guy, dude. We had a question earlier, or maybe that's still coming. No, I think it already came. Where like it was the emo question where like you can just shit on some like a Slark like in laning phase all the way up until he hits level 6, and then he's killing you 2 minutes later. I hate that.
Yeah, everybody hates Slark.
Everybody hates Slark. I don't even like to play Slark really, so whatever. It's interesting that EU plays Slark. I don't even know how to stop Slark really, because I play Luna all the time, and like I try and bait his shadowy form, whatever it's Dark Pact or whatever the fuck it's called.
You just gotta AoE him down. He's really not like. I mean, Slark's really annoying, but he's not like OP. Like he's very
OP.
Manageable.
He's not OP, but he can snowball to a point where it's like there's nothing we can do. Like this Slark is just way out of control, and he's just so fucking slippery too. Yeah, that it makes it really tough. Kruger, that was really interesting. I would love to see. Can you go ahead and email us those results that you got on like what people voted and the average MMRs and everything? Because that's really interesting to see the differences between EU and NA in pubs. But I think once you get on those higher levels, like OG and EG will scrim, and they'll know, I think, for the most part, what's good and what's bad. And it just comes down to like how they assembled it. I don't understand the pro scene. That's why I'm going to stop talking about it. But I think that they probably do, is basically my opinion on the matter.
All good.
Ursi?
Huh? What's up? Yeah, I'm good. I think I got everything out.
Okay.
Can I make one suggestion?
Absolutely.
To the people trying to climb and maybe want to step away from support and go into more of a core role, I'd suggest Darkseer. He is like a mix between a support and a core.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in the offlane, and he's really easy to play, and he stops enemy melee carries.
Yeah,
like in the early games, so well.
And people don't know how to deal with him. Like I could not count the amount of times I'm like playing carry and I'm like, oh, they picked Darkseer. What the heck am I gonna play? Like Jug's not in the pool right now. I'm just screwed. Like what? Like Darkseer is just incredibly strong. And he buys all those like support items. Like he goes Greaves, he goes Pipe, etc. Like, man, Darkseer is great. Yeah, I think offlane in general is a really good position like to learn if you want to climb, because it's not contested that highly, and like you can dominate people. Like you can beat 3 people at once instead of 1, right? Like offlane's great.
Agreed. Hey Kruger, thank you so much, sir.
All good.
All right, our next call-in is Curbside, MMR 24 billion. Curbside, what is your question?
Hey, what's up, guys? So my question is, with esports growing every year, there's been a little bit of an increase in competitive games coming out. And I was going to ask you guys, what do you guys think are some of Dota's toughest competitors? Or are there any new ones on the scene? And what do you think, in your opinion, keeps Dota at the top of like the esports world?
I mean, I think a lot of those competitors that have come out have not really dominated. Like CS:GO is still obviously a titan of esports, and Dota is still huge, and LoL is still huge. But there is an element of like the new games that people hyped up that it came out, like Overwatch. Like Overwatch is still fun, like people like playing it, but it just didn't transition into like a watchable esport very well. And a lot of those other like MOBAs were like popular for like a couple of weeks, and then like they kind of petered out. And like Smite, still like they have some stuff, but I think what keeps Dota going is that it's very insular, right? Like Dota fans are Dota fans, and like they might watch stuff like CS:GO or whatever, but like we are very like in on our own thing, and it's largely just because the game is so complicated. Whereas other esports, people are kind of like in and out. They're like, oh, I like Paragon. Oh, I like Smite. I like, yada, yada, yada. So I think that it's also like kind of a barrier to getting into Dota in that it's so complicated. But like once people are into Dota, they're stuck. Like that's just a thing. And we've had like a good season of patches for like competitive play that have been very well balanced. So like I think Dota is just a good mix of like it has a fan base already established. It's complicated. It's very gratifying to watch. And like you see something new every game because there's the hero pool is so large and like you can do a lot of different strategies, yada yada yada. Like there's a ton of stuff to improve on with Dota as like as a sport or an esport, but at the same time like it is already doing a lot of things well. And I think a lot of other esports that are burgeoning or esports that have kind of failed, like StarCraft 2, like was pretty hyped during Wings of Liberty, but now it's like people just aren't super into it. So I think we're keeping things up. Like we've had a good bunch of patches in a row, right? Like that's what it comes down to, in my opinion.
Yeah, a good developer, first and foremost. They have a great product that appeals to a lot of people, that is absolutely free. And I know that just by reading our Dota that a lot of people were thankful for Dark Moon, because Dark Moon gave them an ability to win sets for absolutely no money. Which was really cool, because I read one thread where he's like, I come from a poor country, I can't afford sets ever, and even if it's a normal set, I just got my first set, and now I want to play that hero. So I think that's cool. It's also ran by a company that it's not Dota 2, maybe their most popular game, but they're not going to go under if Dota 2 goes under, which the company having less pressure on making sure that their game is perfect is almost a good thing. Like if we look at Riot, they live and die by League of Legends. If League of Legends dies, so does Riot. If all of a sudden Defense of the Ancients died right now, Valve would continue on and would still prosper on CSGO, on Team Fortress, or just by selling other games through their engine. Or not through their engine, but through their, whatever you would call it. Their catalog or whatever.
Their ecosystem.
Their ecosystem.
So according to Newzoo, the audience for esports has grown to 131 million, which is up 27.7% from last year. And they say there's another 125 million occasional viewers who tune in. So with that being in mind, do you guys think that there's room for Dota to grow into something bigger, or is Dota just like securing its piece of the pie right now?
Look, I would love to have this question when we start to see prize pool for TI7. That's the one vital mistake that, in my opinion, Valve has made, which is watermarking every single tournament. I think the first year that we see the tournament prize pool less than the previous year will be the decline of Dota 2. And that's just because there's a lot of hype surrounding prize pool. When you see $21 million is on the line, you're like, holy shit, that is $21 million for video games. I mean, that even gets people who don't understand the game at least semi-interested. I mean, poker, there was like I didn't really understand it, but I got introduced and loved poker because so much money was on the line for this card game. What the fuck? Mm-hmm. So the second you see, like, if TI7 is anything less than 21 million, that's a bad sign for Dota 2. Which I think the smartest thing that they did was making the majors just 3 million flat every single time. I wish that they would have had the foresight to do the same with TI, but the problem is TI1, Dota 2 was still really small, or was really small.
It was barely a game.
Yeah, it was
Dota 1, the only people playing were like pros that were given keys from Dota 1.
And then like TI2, you see it step up a little bit, and it's pretty big money. TI3, pretty big money. And then it feels like TI4, TI5, and TI6 is when it really kicks into like, holy shit, that sucks. I wish we would have, but I don't know how they could have had like a watermark on it. So I don't know. We'll see how they handle TI7. We'll see how it handles. Right now, numbers are going up on unique accounts and people that are online. So I wish Dota all the success in the world, but I don't think it'll live forever. That's just.
Think they might need a better pay structure for amateur to professional esports gamers in the future?
No, I think it'll just switch to a new game. I think that's bound to happen. I mean, we're not going to see Dota last for. I would guarantee it won't last for another 10 years. Maybe 5 more years before it starts to decline. And hopefully it doesn't decline as fast as StarCraft 2. Because StarCraft 2 was like there, and now we have In Control, who I love, Jeff In Control Robinson, who's like looking for a job. And this guy was like the EG StarCraft guy. And now he's like looking for a job. It just goes to show how fickle the esports scene is, and that's because honestly it's a bunch of millennials that are trying to organize a lot of money, and
so
it's
in
kind
other
of an
words,
issue.
don't put all your digital eggs in one basket, because there's so many subgenres of esports that are kind of up and coming and some that are declining.
Yeah,
get it while the getting's good, for sure. Like if Dota's on the rise, jump in and take your slice, but don't bank on being just Dota forever. If this is what you want to do.
Be a future MOBA that's gonna dethrone Dota?
It might not even be MOBA. It might not even be a MOBA. It might just be like we were seeing RTSs were the big thing. Now MOBAs are the big thing. It might be like a V MOBA, like a virtual reality MOBA. Who fucking knows what it's gonna be? But it's definitely Dota will die. It will.
So I think to kind of like circle things back to Dota and like how things could improve. Really, I think the big thing for me that I've noticed for the last TI, and the big thing that I always complain about basically is that they did the noob stream for like TI4 and TI5, and it was great. Like I watched it even though obviously I wasn't gaining anything from it because it was just super casual and fun, and like the entire Twitch chat was like very either people like helping, people asking questions, or people just asking questions, getting involved. And them not doing that for TI6 was honestly very disappointing to me. And like clearly they had the staff there for it. Like once they were in like the finals, like there were all these casters that were there and of course busy doing other things, but they could have very easily just had like a Dota 2 TI_4 stream and done a new players stream, and that would have been great. But they didn't do that, and that's very disappointing to me. So I think if they want to grow Dota both as an esport and as a game, having those new player streams that reach out to people that have either no experience in the ARTS genre or have minimal experience or experience in other games or are like parents of like players or parents of people that are like super involved and I think like, oh boy, what's all this time? Like new player streams are so valuable, and it is astounding to me that they do not do that on a regular basis, considering how relatively little like input has to be put into that. Like,
well, that's why we started DotP, because there was no entry level other than like welcome to Dota 2 you suck and purge videos. Like we were like, we need to get the noob perspective out there, because guess what, there's way more new players than there are experienced players. And so yeah, I feel like they're definitely missing out on assumption based, like people know how this game works, they've watched it plenty. And it's like, no.
I know they haven't.
Yeah, I mean they may have, but it's still a super complex game. Curbside, thank you so much. That's really interesting. I hope Dota doesn't die, but we'll
one last question.
See. Okay.
Do you guys think there's a possibility that Major League Gaming and ESL might form into their own sort of bigger organization later down the road?
Sure. I mean, MLG like isn't super huge right now, right? Like they lost Dota, and they do like a bunch of FPS games that are not like super popular. Like they're popular in their subset. Like doesn't MLG do like the COD stuff and the Halo stuff, and like they're popular within that scene, but like they don't have like,
I don't think they have the money that the esports technically has. I don't know where that money definitely is held, but MLG is
the esports vault where they
I mean I don't know like what companies like hold the majority of it, but MLG, from what I have heard, like as far as prize pools go, compare an MLG prize pool to like even a StarCraft prize pool, and it's just nothing. So we'll see.
Cool.
Thank you so much for your question, Curb.
Anytime.
All right, so our final question for the night being from Tulakard. His MMR is 1551. Tulik, what is your question, sir?
Hey, my MMR is irrelevant. I don't bother playing ranked. But the question, it was said on an older show. I was going back through listening to some shows that I'd saved for various reasons, primarily to remember things. Now, it was said that supports should live. Now, I'm paraphrasing heavily here, and I don't remember who said it, but support should live in the deep, dark recesses of the lowest bowels of the outside of the fight. And if you think you're far enough back, you're not far enough. Now, that raises the need for a force staff, for example, for a scrub like me to quickly get into a fight that's suddenly going on so I could cast what needs to be cast. So that raises the force staff, in my mind, to the top of item priority. I primarily play 5 position. Yes, I'm talking about support. I know you've admonished me about that last time I was on here. I'm ignoring that and just playing it anyway. So I have force staff at the top of my mind. What, and this comes down to, somebody else said, don't get your mech if you're 40 minutes in, because the efficacy of the item is effectively lost. So if I'm balancing or trying to balance early items with late items, and I'm forced to get a force staff because I'm stuck standing way so far back because I'm just an idiot support, how do I balance that effectively? And if it's easier, what are your top 5 items given a generic game that there are no outliers? It's just a random generic game. Would those top 5 sort of fall into answering this question, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say regarding support positioning and like item choices, that mobility never goes away. Like, mobility is always good. Like you were talking about earlier, I think I said that last week, about how mech does fall off at a certain point, and Greaves are very good because they give you the of course, of dispel and the plus armor on allies, etc. But a force staff is the perfect item, or a blink dagger, because you're never going to be like, it's always effective to be moving around and stuff. And you always do, like, as a support, just naturally, like, you're going to die more easily if you're in the middle of things. So you want to stay on the side of things. And you want to be abusing the fact that people don't want to target you first. They want to target your cores and kill your cores, right? Because they're the real, they're like the straightforward threat. And the supports are like the guys on the sides that are like, flanking and trying to get work done. So regarding positioning, you want to be in that kind of range where you're far enough away that you're away from the danger, but close enough that you can get your stuff off. So, like, we talk about Rubik a lot. I think he's probably like the best example in that if all right, I'm going to be able to have a telekinesis up in like 5 seconds, and I'm currently like on the side, you want to be thinking, all right, this enemy slaughter, let's say, is moving forward, and I don't want him to be able to blink on me, but at the same time, I want to be able to get the jump on him when he tries to get my teammate. So you want to be, just position yourself in that you're useful and you can use your abilities and react, but at the same time, you're not in the danger zone, because it's way too easily, if you're playing, whatever support, to just get instantly killed. So that's really the big thing. And of course, doing that is a lot more complicated than just saying like, oh, okay, I just got to stay on the side. But I would definitely say that's why Force Staff and Glimmer Cape and Blink Dagger and Ghost Scepter and stuff like that are so valuable, right? It's because you have items like Force Staff and Blink Dagger that give you direct mobility, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to press this button and I'm going to get pushed forward. It's going to push me up hills. It's going to push me down hills. It's going to push me, X, Y, and Z. Blink Dagger, I'm going to be able to pop from one place to another, provided I haven't taken damage. They're very they're just straight mobility items. But you also get mobility from an item like a Glimmer Cape or a Ghost Scepter, in that they are going to prevent other things. So if the enemy team has like a troll that's bashing you and stopping you from getting stuff done, if you have a Ghost Scepter, that is effectively a mobility item, right? 'Cause it's going to let you leave the fight or come in the fight or cast spells or what have you, because you're not in danger from their primary source of damage. Similarly, Glimmer Cape, if you're invisible and a lot of people don't carry sentries to a random fighter like a gem just because of a Glimmer Cape, they might have dust, but like Glimmer Cape is a very surprising item. And that means you can kind of do whatever you want in the fight during those seconds of fade time and those seconds where you are invisible, right? So those are kind of pseudo mobility items, I guess. So, I mean, really, like, mobility is key in general, right? It never falls off. It's always good. And, like, yeah, there are obviously better things. Sometimes you just really need a mech or you really need pads. But having some basic stat item like an urn or like a magic wand and tranquils, but then like mobility, just mobility. It's why like every Theory Crafting Thursday episode, it's basically me playing a support and saying my build is going to be a Force Staff and a Blink Dagger, and I'm probably going to build whichever one first that I can get to. And that's it. Like, it's always good on every support, like without exception. Just buy mobility. It's great.
Yeah. Usually when I'm playing with Prouder Ursi and I'm like, okay, I have boots and I have this thing. What do I build? And this Force Staff, like literally in tandem Force Staff. So, yeah, you do want to be very far away from fights. PPD talked, or not PPD, sorry. Puppy talked about Dazzle and how he wouldn't skill Dazzle's Q, which is Poison Touch, or Poison Wave, or Poison Touch, because it got him too close to a fight. And he wanted to use it, so he wouldn't skill it because it made him want to use it and it would make him too close to a fight. So, yeah, definitely mobility and just positioning going into a fight, probably.
Yeah. Also, Mr. Blue, not Mr. Blue, Mr. Blue. I brought up Yules, and Yules is another good one where it creates a period of time where you are inaccessible to the enemy unless they have a diffusal blade. Actually, you can't diffuse enemies now, so you're inaccessible. I mean, I suppose you could get it with like an Oracle or a Shadow Demon or what have you. But anything that takes you out of the fight is like maybe not strictly a mobility item, but that is an effective mobility if it's making you inaccessible to the enemy. So it's really the goal, right? Is like you just got to stay alive to do stuff, and when you stay alive, then you get gold and XP, and then you can do more things because you have more items, right? Like,
exactly.
Staying alive is always the goal.
Gotta stay alive. Tulik, thank you so much for your question, sir.
If you don't mind, just before I go...
We do mind.
I don't.
Okay, Ursi doesn't. Go ahead.
This is just for Ursi then. What are your top 5 clickies then? There's no outside factors that you don't have to worry about, nothing. Just your top 5, including anything at all for support. Just off the top of your head.
I mean, excluding boots, I would say my top 5 items on support are always number 1 Blink Dagger, number 2 Force Staff. That's me personally. Other people would say number 1 Force Staff, but that's neither here nor there. So I'd say Blink Dagger, Force Staff, Glimmer Cape, Yules, and then lastly, Ghost Scepter. Because Ghost Scepter is more situational, whereas Glimmer Cape's always really good.
Windlace, Raindrops.
Well, I mean,
come on, we're talking supports. They're poor here.
I did say clicky.
You did say what?
Clicky. Clicky items. Obviously, the passive ones are easy enough for even an idiot like me, Roland.
I was like, Blightstone on some of them might be good. I agree with Ursi. Mobility and mobility, like he said, Ghost Scepter is effectively mobility when you're not getting bashed or when you're living because you're walking away. If it can make you mobile, then get it.
You can't diffuse enemies, by the way. That was in the patch notes.
You can diffuse enemies. You can't diffuse allies or yourself, but you can diffuse enemies.
Oh, is it? You can't do it to allies?
You can't do it to allies or yourself, but you can do it to enemies.
I don't play heroes that build this item anymore.
What? Like, anybody can build that item that's agi, and it's pretty good. So, all right. Tulik, thank you so much for calling in, sir.
Yep, thank you too very much for answering my questions. Thank you to the background, I just totally forgot his name. That's horrible. But Cyphus for dealing with my crap all the time. And Grody for not updating the ladder. Thank you, sir. Take care, guys.
Has he still not up? It's because he's playing World of Warcraft. He's stuck in a rabbit hole. Oh my gosh.
Kids these days.
All right, Ursi.
World of Warcraft.
Let's go ahead and thank our patrons. Thank you so much for donating at Defense of the Patients patreon.com/Defense of the Patients. We are going to be doing a 15th, basically halfway through the month and at the end of the month for all patrons, patron exclusive episodes. We are seeing ching, ching, ching coming through. Thank you so much on that. iTunes reviews, tons of those coming through. It's awesome. You guys are helping us grow very tall and strong. We might be able to send Ursi some Soylent so that he can get the proper nutrients to grow up big and strong as well. Any other plugs that you want? I don't want to go through like a million of them. The
special plug Patreon-wise is that now anybody donating $5 or more gets a replay review for the month of February. That's the special event, basically, that I'm doing.
That is insane.
You act surprised, but this is the thing that I told you.
I'm acting like, a Billy Mays types. Rest in peace.
Right.
Holy, there's no way. The value there is incredible.
So, if you want a replay review, look us up. $5. Don't buy coffee tomorrow morning and give $5 to us and get a replay review. It's fun. I enjoy doing it, and people like them. So that's Patreon thing.
Indeed. Also, defenseofthepatients@gmail.com. That's where we are pulling the email questions from. And other sources, .p related, of course, Jay Gucci on our Defense of the Patients for you Redditors. And Twitter. I'm not going to kill you with plugs. Just I want to once again say thank you to all of our patrons. It has helped a ton. Our expenses have gone up, but the Patreon donators have gone up as well. Thank you big time. And look out for Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday is going to be Denny and I, like Monday, but it's going to be on Fridays. It's going to be a blast. So without any further,
call it the Monday show.
We'll call it the Monday show, sure.
Nice.
I don't know what we're going to call it.
We're definitely not going to call it that.
We have eight callers, so go ahead and roll a D8 and we'll decide who, and we'll know who won the thing.
All right.
1 being Mr. Blue, 8 being Tulik.
I rolled a 1.
Mr. Blue wins with $20 Steam cash money. So we'll get at you with that card. Congratulations, Mr. Blue. And this is Roland for all the callers, all the email typers, and Ursi saying you have questions and we have answers.